Gentlemen, we come here today to speak about our past, our love for cartoons, superheroes, and a big fat cat that's afraid of everything. I am talking about Fox Kids, also Fox Kids Network, which I believe it was later called. Today on After School Special. That's usually when you play it after I say After School Special, Don. Isn't that right? Did I just cue it up? Yeah. Yeah, we're talking Fox Children's Network. Just to give a little backstory on this, started in September 8th, 1990, ended around September 7th, 2002, was Fox Children's Network, and then later became Fox Kids Network. I don't know, it was I can't remember what it was when it was Fox Children's Network, but I think we all remember the Fox Kids with the red letters and the two spotlights coming out. But yeah, Fox Kids, some of the popular programs that they had, Bobby's World, Power Rangers, a series, which, dealt with Saban. But the ones that we're talking about, and I focus, a little bit more on, because pretty sure I chose Batman, only because, I'll be honest with you, I never woke up in time to see a lot of these cartoons. I was more of a Snick guy.
Yeah.
Because I stayed up late. That was Saturday night, and then you going into Sunday, and then, a lot of us had to go to our religious meetings, our churches. So I never woke up in time to see a lot of these, but I do remember Batman, the way that it would come on with the song, the Danny Elfman theme song, and just hit you right square in the jaw. The 1930s feel, but also a futuristic thing. It wasn't like the Joel Schumacher, big statue with a big pair of tits, neon lights all over the place. I fucking hated that.
They used the art-deco because I was reading the production note that the drawings for the Batman the animated series was done on gray paper. Mm-hmm. It wasn't done on white. So that's why it was always so dark and dank.
Is that the reason why?
Yeah. So, because they use gray paper. At least that's what I read somewhere. So, I don't know how true that is, but I liked it. I like that Art Deco look, man. And the release of the different characters. Because, Joker on there was phenomenal. Mark Hamill.
Yep.
And Penguin before he got his re-image.
Yeah, they ended up redoing it after a certain point and made almost it look like darker and sharper images.
Yes. Same thing with Bane.
Bane was originally in the Nightfall comic book series. I remember that, but shortly after the cartoon series had started up.
Yes, because he didn't break Batman's back in the show. Because in the show, Rupert Thorne hires Bane to take Batman out. And then Rupert Thorne's girlfriend was Nerd Alert. Trying to backstab Rupert Thorne. Because Rupert Thorne, I don't remember who he was voiced by, but he was a big kingpin on Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, yeah. I do remember the person that... So you had different voice talents come out. Also Ron Perlman as Clayface. But yeah, with Batman... you had, what was the first episode was I remember seeing as a kid, and I'm like, well, what the fuck is this? Is another Batman?
But this is off the heels of the movie, though. This was off the heels.
Yeah, and I was under the impression that it was going to be similar to that. So as soon as I saw it, I was when I first saw it, I was a little unimpressed. But then as time progressed, I got more and more into it. And the first episode was the first one that I saw was with the giant bat.
Yes, the Man-Bat.
Man-Bat, yeah.
Yeah.
After that, I think I saw a Mr. Freeze episode, because I've always liked Mr. Freeze.
Oh, that was a good one.
So good. Yeah.
And then after that it was pretty successful. It came out with a couple other movies, and they ended up redoing it, which made the images a lot darker, sharper, less motion blur, especially in later episodes. And then you kind of get this team up that still exists today, like Harley Quinn was a character that was created for this, and Harley Quinn then teaming up with Poison Ivy.
Yes.
Then you have more this cartoon created a character, like a massive character and a massive following, because now she has movies, she has a cartoon just on herself that's absolutely hilarious.
A fun fact about Kevin Conroy is when 9/11 hit, he went down to New York.
This is fun already, John.
He went down to cook for the first responders. And one of the people asked him, like, what do you do for a living? He's like, I'm a voice actor. And they're like, for what? And he's like, Batman. And they're like, oh, get out of here. You know, you couldn't have been that. So he yells.
Can't exactly prove it.
Yeah, he yells in his highest voice, you know, I am vengeance, I am the night, I am Batman from the kitchen. And it just blew all the first responders away. And it was just a roaring applause. And he mentions that on Batman, the animated DVD that's between Dark Knight and Batman Begins. So if you
really?
to the commentary, he talks about it on there. Yeah.
Okay, nerd alert.
Nerd
so
alert!
You're the kind of guy that listens to the director's commentary.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like.
Only you.
Yeah, I like the commentary. I like hearing what their thoughts were, and how often do you get to hear Kevin Conroy talk about, you know, his thought process for how he voices Bruce Wayne and Batman?
John, I'm not gonna lie.
So
Me
I
too.
really like.
I listen to it too.
You can't get that anymore, though. That's the thing. It sucks that
Well,
you can't.
you do. It's all in podcasts now. The podcast kind of replaced that. The director's commentary.
Yeah.
So
True.
I had a question too, because you know, when I was a kid, preteens, teenager, you couldn't get me up for shit. Couldn't get me up for school. Couldn't get me up if basically you said, hey man, I'll give you $100 to get up early. But these cartoons are like the only thing that got me up in the morning on a Saturday. That's how good these fuckers were. But I'm surprised, like, Aaron, you weren't one of those kids. That
No,
got up in the
but see,
morning?
this was Batman was on later on. So I'd be catching, because I think it's like when noon hit, then it's over. Like if you woke up around, I tried to wake up around 11 o'clock. So sometimes I'd get X-Men. Sometimes then, like later on, I'd get Batman. But hell no. Now I wake up at like 4 every morning to get ready, go work out, and go to work.
Yeah, man.
That's another thing, man. Kids nowadays, okay, this is speaking as an old guy now, or young guy. Kids will never know the struggle. Like, if you miss a show 10, 20 years ago, that was it. You just missed it.
Yeah.
Yep.
All this DVR and on demand, you spoiled.
Did you hear me? I said get off my lawn now.
Yes, Aaron, you just highlighted
Yeah.
something for me. Like, you had to get up.
Yeah.
You had to, or you just missed it.
And it's funny because now you take that for granted. Like, oh, I'll watch it later. You know.
Oh, I take it
like-
for granted now, for sure.
Yeah. Because
As I'm talking shit.
even now, I hate to say it, but the shows we're going to be talking about are streaming, and I haven't watched any of them yet because I'm so busy watching the newer stuff that has come out.
But you've seen these episodes before, so
But I still want to get that nostalgia, which is why we talk about what we talk about. So
The whole thing now, everything has changed and changed so quickly that, you know, with cartoons and everything the way that they were, we're seeing a whole new, we are our parents in a sense. We're seeing something happen where it's like, well, I remember back in my day, and like, oh, holy shit, I become my father. But yeah, you look at it like this, it's the kids nowadays have everything in their fingertips. You can't set it up. Like my kids will watch a whole season of shit before I even wake up in the morning, so I can't stop them. They do it. They know how to work the TV now. And if I do catch it, I shut it off, tell them go the fuck back to bed. I want my kids to sleep in. But so to move on, and John, I think you have more of an understanding, because I didn't actually watch Eek the Cat all that often.
So Eek the Cat was about a purple cat who was so happy with life. He had a obese girlfriend named Clarabelle, which I think, but you know what, man? I think Eek inadvertently got me to liking bigger girls because of Clarabelle. Because Clarabelle would always talk about how much she weighs and stuff like that. And he's like, no, it's just much more of you to love. Like, that's, I remember watching that and thinking like, wow, this guy always sees the sunny side.
He's very progressive in that fat shaming.
Eek was very, you know, it's funny.
I like him a little thick. That's nothing wrong.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. And then the other thing about Eek is he was always running away from Sharky the Sharkdog. So Sharky was always trying to attack Eek. So Eek always puts other people's safety first, and comfort before his own. He can talk with all animals and most humans, but he can't talk with his owners, obviously. His motto is, it never hurts to help.
Jesus Christ. He's a fucking saint.
So, would he be the antithesis? Am I saying that right? Okay.
Antithesis?
Antithesis of like the character Garfield. Like,
Yeah. Garfield is more selfish.
Garfield was a fucking pimp, man. Fucking lasagna.
Eek was too, but in his own weird way.
So I have a theory. Garfield is more self-indulging. Heathcliff was the more mischievous, because Heathcliff came out before Garfield. So Heathcliff is the more mischievous, like, rascal. And Eek was just like, oh, let me help this little old lady across the street.
Sounds like Eek, like it's normal, but Nermal got fat.
Yeah. Like, he was like Nermal, but he wasn't as annoying. He was more like, oh, I just like to help people. Then other characters on there was Annabelle. Annabelle was female cat and Eek's girlfriend, who was like the Southern Belle. She was extremely fat, and although Eek somehow never knew how big she was. Like, when people would mention her weight, he'd be like, oh, really? He willfully ignored it.
Did he willfully ignore it? I think he just didn't see it. He really just didn't.
Yeah, he didn't see it. So it was like Shallow Hal, which is a movie that didn't age well. So, despite her weight, her arms and legs are very skinny. Eek fell in love with Annabelle the first time he saw her, when he was hit by an arrow by a one-winged Cupid.
They fucking drugged him?
Well, Cupid got him with one...
Now that you mention it, yeah. Yeah, he actually was.
Yeah. With a fentanyl arrow?
Yeah. So other characters on there are the Squishy Bears, which are like a knockoff of the Care Bears. They're like really cynical bears. Sharky was a guard dog who defended Annabelle with viciousness. He does not talk, but he speaks with grunts and growls. He was always trying to destroy Eek. And the other funny part about Sharky was Sharky's inside of his house was set up like Snoopy's house. Like, it was infinite on the inside. So yeah.
Oh,
it was
really?
just a huge house. Man, dude, you have to watch.
Yeah, I don't think we're selling this show right, but it's very funny.
Annabelle is not thick, man. She's morbidly obese.
Yeah.
I was looking at a picture of her
she's a
eating
little-
chocolates.
But I mean, she can move.
Yeah.
She has mobility. Those little skinny legs.
Fuck, I remember Sharky. I remember that dog.
Did you know it was a Super Nintendo game? Eat the Cat?
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's when they make games out of pretty much everything.
They did. That's
thing.
because we talked about it before. Avoid the Noid. They made a game out of the Noid.
Oh, someone made some Eek the Cat deviant art. There's Annabelle fucking looking like she's rubbing
I was looking
uh,
at that too, right? Same
Okay,
thing.
yeah. And she's got like the heavy breasts.
Woo!
Oh,
Going
so
there?
it's going into like the furry category.
Oh,
Didn't she
yeah,
have
probably.
Didn't she have like a little Southern accent?
She did. She was a
too,
Southern
or-
Belle.
Yeah, she was a little Southern Belle. Got a
Southern
little-
Belle. Okay,
little
Don, I
red
see
bone.
you.
Well, you know.
Hey, yeah. I see you. Eat the cat. Yeah.
I was gonna say the next one because this was another one. I had the fucking toys. Didn't know when this had started. I had never seen this, but Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Yes, that was based off a movie that came out that was kind of like mocking
Similar to the Blob.
the Blob and
A lot of like old school like monster movies.
Killer Clowns.
Body Snatcher.
Or was it Clowns from Outer Space? Which
Killer
one was
Clowns from Outer Space.
it? From Outer Space. Okay, it's the same thing.
So
Yeah.
it's a sequel. It's a sequel to the original film, and it didn't run that long. It was actually only on for about a little under a year, a little over a year.
Yeah, it was one of the flagship shows for Kids Network that I remember. I remember the toys. The sequel, yeah, what you were saying, the cartoon was based on the sequel
Yeah.
for the movie
Yeah.
with the different talking tomatoes and whatnot. All you needed to get was a big fat fucking Italian in there and he would have taken care of business. I'm just saying.
As soon as we talked about this, I instantly got in the mood for pizza for some reason.
Yeah, pizza, fucking like some linguine. Well, not linguine. I was gonna say fucking manicotti.
And you know what's funny is this game. I remember they made a game for this. Just like Don said, they made a game out of everything. I tried to play
Yes.
this game and it was so hard to beat. It was on NES.
fucking baked ziti them bitches. Like I never really understood that. Were they good guys or were they bad guys? I thought they were.
The killer tomatoes were bad, but there were two tomatoes that were good. So it was a furry tomato that pretended to be a dog called FT. And then there was a girl who was a babe who, when she sneezed, like if pepper was accidentally put on her, she would turn back into a tomato. But she was like this, like one of the babes from like down in Venice Beach. Like she wore like a short shirt and all that stuff. But if she was a creation of the mad scientist, but her and the furry tomato got away. So
wait, so that was similar to, say, Smurfette and Gargamel?
Yeah, similar. But what happens is that if her name was Tara Bumday, a tomato turned human. They run away from Dr. Gangrene.
You know who voiced Gangrene?
John T. Austin.
Yeah.
Adams family, Gomez Adams. He's still alive, I think, too.
And the guy who voiced, was it Mumato? You know who did that one?
Mumato. Why does that sound familiar?
He was in Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, the cartoon, but who did the voice acting? You know who did that one? It was Rob Paulson.
Oh, Ralph from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. Did you know he was born from Detroit?
I did not know that. So yeah, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes was just a spoof of 1950s action horror movies. That's all it was. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was just something that was on. That's freaking...
So like Stranger Things on Netflix?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wait, what?
I'm hating. I'm sorry.
Was that sacrilege?
I'm hating.
You don't like Stranger Things?
First season was great, man. First season was amazing.
It was. And then the kids grew up, and it was like, okay.
And now they look fucking weird.
It's not only that. Then you got these kids trying to solve adult problems. It's like, come on, man. And then they always make the adults so dumb and weak.
Wait, you're saying kids solving adult problems? Fucking Scooby-Doo, bro.
Oh, come on. They're like man children. Like, I come on.
And then what's her name is Scooby now. What's her name? Scooby. 11 Scooby.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. I thought Scooby-Doo was like, they're all college kids.
No, they're like high school kids or something.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Shaggy was a stoner. So, I mean, you know, it was just them going to solve crime. So, but we can almost go as far as to say that Stranger Things is just an extension of Goosebumps. You had kids on there solving adult problems that had a very mysterious outcome, you know, because let's be realistic. Like, if you and me were siblings and our dad was telling us, hey, don't go into the basement, only to find out that our dad was a plant-human hybrid, who are we going to go tell? You know, it's hard.
But do you think nowadays you can, like, make a show like Eat the Cat and kids will like it?
No.
No. I think it's more for us.
That makes me sad.
It makes me sad too, because I don't think that
I'm surprised most of these kids are watching shows anymore anyways.
Yeah.
Everything's TikTok within 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and then, it's their attention spans are fucking gone.
It's getting shorter and shorter, man. And I refuse to get like that. I like to read long articles because I refuse to be the type of person that can only watch a video for a minute or less than a minute.
Did you hear me? I said get off my lawn now.
Tiny Toons. My son loves Tiny Toons. We were watching Tiny Toons, and he was into all the slapstick on that. When Plucky was getting slapped around. Or Looney Tunes, when anytime Daffy Duck's bill gets shot off, he's just over
cracking up.
He's just over it. And it makes me laugh, too. Like, it's, like, funny to me.
Yeah, my kids love the new Tiny Toons. And actually, it's pretty funny. And there's some like adult themes in it, but the whole thing now is like you will see less and less geared towards older people, and like within the 50s and 30s, everything's going to be focused more on the 70s, 80s, 90s, because that's where their market. So anything and everything that you see, that's why one of the reasons why I stopped doing videos and everything was just a complete and utter feeling of just like no inspiration whatsoever. Everything is copied. Nothing is, there is nothing original. I don't know, maybe the fucking, what's that chess game? The chess show on Netflix that everyone's watching, or Bridgerton, or whatever the fuck it's called.
Talking about the Queen's Gambit.
I hate TV now.
My wife loves Bridgerton, and she finished the Queen's Gambit. I won't say nothing if you won't.
Please don't.
No, man, I mean, it's just all in preference. It really is.
Did you want to touch on Tick? Because this was kind of a show that I watched and then came back up again recently. So Fox had the Tick is based around a comic book. Let's start there.
Yes.
Based around a comic book. I don't know if it was Dark Horse or Image or who did it. Basically, these characters, the Tick and the Moth.
So the Tick, just to give you a little background on the Tick, they're not sure if he's an actual hero or if he's crazy. So that's the thing, because his whole motto is like, his thing is spoon. Like when he gets ready to go into battle, he's like spoon. So he's like this uber strong being. And then there's Arthur, who was an accountant who became his sidekick, like this flying moth. So the Tick also had other characters on there like Bat or Durs de Flan. Then you had Sewer Urchin, and then American Maid, who was like a maid who was like a Wonder Woman type. Their villain was Chairface Chippendale. So he's like a chair. He has a human body, but he's got the chair for a face. And Chippendale was the name of furniture company. So you had that. And then I remember when the Tick went against the Tick. So it was one guy who was actually in the motif of a Tick, and they were battling. So it's just one of those shows, like you're either into it or you're not.
I remember watching episodes. I do remember there being a live action on Fox, and then recently they had the Amazon show that only lasted like...
And it was good, and it won an award, I think.
Wait, they canceled that?
Yeah, they canceled it.
No!
Yeah.
No, it was so good.
It was. I thought it was great.
Faithful to the source material, the voice actor, not the voice actor, but the actor who played the Tick was spot on. Mm-hmm. Man, I wanted to see the end of that.
He was the voice of, well, I was going to say real quick, just a little nerd alert thing.
Nerd alert!
The guy that played, and I think it's like Peter or something, the guy that played the Tick was the voice of Darth Maul in Phantom Menace.
Yeah, and they cut him.
No
they
shit.
cut him. He actually said on...
Collider?
Yes, where he was talking about his role got cut for some reason. He was also...
Like his voice got cut, or...
His voice got cut for the new Solo movie or something?
Yeah,
was that
for
it?
Solo.
Oh,
Yeah.
Boo.
So
Still never seen
the
that movie.
other movie. You didn't miss much, man. I would.
I keep hearing that.
They ended up using the guy that did the voice for him in Clone Wars, Darth Maul, who also is, I believe, the voice of Starkiller in The Force Awakens video games. The Tick Fox cast. The 2001 Tick show was Patrick Warburton, who you know from Seinfeld.
Yes, he was perfect too, to be honest with you.
No, he was awesome.
Yeah, he was perfect too.
We got the last one that we were going to talk today, which was a big one too. You also had Spider-Man on Fox Kids.
Yes, which had an amazing intro. The guitar riff. You
know who did that guitar riff?
Who did
Aerosmith.
Yes, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, it was Joe Perry.
Joe Perry, yeah.
But still, yeah, man.
And it was so good, man. Like, Spider-Man the Animated Series was dope because it had introduced crossovers. You had X-Men crossovers, the Avengers.
Is Fantastic Four on there?
Fantastic Four came on there briefly, yeah.
It lasted longer than I remember. I didn't know it lasted until 98.
It was such a good show, man. And that
it was popular, man.
They introduced the Spider-Verse. That's where the Spider-Verse got introduced first, because Madam Web went and brought all those Spider-Men from the different parts of the multiverse to combat Carnage Spider-Man. Because Spider-Man got taken over by Carnage, yeah. And the only one who could beat him was Uncle Ben. Because they brought Uncle Ben and he was like, hey, man, remember what I told you? Great power comes with great responsibility. And Carnage lost it. He just lost his mind because he was losing control over it. It was really good.
Oh, it was the perfect bridge coming from the X-Men cartoons. And then Spider-Man just kind of took up that baton. The cartoon did.
Yep.
And just took it
and
further.
Do you know who the voice of Spider-Man was?
No, I don't.
He was Greg Brady on the Brady Bunch movies.
No shit.
Yeah, the guy who played Greg Brady was the voice of Spider-Man.
It's perfect, actually. He actually kind of looked like them. He kind of looked like him in the cartoon a little. Yeah, it makes sense. Damn. That's some good research.
The episodes that I remember the most, or when they came out, were the Venom episodes. I think that was kind of everyone's thing. We all know what Spider-Man 3 was about. It was terrible. The black suit, they just tried to push as much down our throats as we possibly could take.
Whoa, Jack.
Well, just saying. And then they go to the comic book version, like for the cartoon. That was my version. You know, going to Eddie Brock following Peter Parker when he had the suit, Peter Parker getting like a little bit out of control and whatnot. I don't know. It just reminded me of the comics so much more. And I wasn't a big collector of Spider-Man, but a lot of the Venom stuff, especially the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man series, and then also Venom, which, am I right in saying that Todd McFarlane created Venom?
He created Venom. So the guy who voiced Spider-Man in the 90s animated series also voiced him in Ultimate Spider-Man. So they brought him back to do the voice for Ultimate Spider-Man, which came on Disney.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they brought him back for that. They must have did a Spider-Verse episode on there because they brought him in for that.
I like when successful series like Batman and Superman and all those cartoons, they keep those actors, those voice actors, man. I like it that they don't keep changing them.
Yeah.
Because they're iconic, just like Homer in The Simpsons. Like, he's gonna be forever Homer.
Please don't change Homer.
But I remember Spider-Man. I wasn't before the cartoon. I was all X-Men. But before the cartoon, I didn't really care about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And this cartoon got me single-handedly into liking him, reading the comics, and then when the movie finally came out my senior year of high school, I was all in, even though the guy who plays Spider-Man, Toby Maguire, wasn't a huge fan of. But even that, this cartoon is solely responsible for my love of Spider-Man, because if it wasn't for this cartoon, I don't think I would have read the comics.
Yeah,
because it was like, who the fuck is this guy?
I like Toby. I'm not liking what I'm hearing about Toby now, but I like Toby.
Okay. Are we canceling him too?
No. Like,
cancel his
they
face.
said he's been acting like a prima donna on the new Spider-Man movie, so.
Well, he's always had it. He's a little bitch. Even beforehand, like when he was doing the other movies, I don't understand. You have the easiest fucking job in the world. Anyone says that acting is hard, I'm sorry. Now, can I do it? No, there are certain types of people that can, but Toby Maguire is not a good actor.
Yeah.
He was able to play Peter Parker because he fucking sucks.
And we didn't have the actors that we have now.
Yeah, like the Tom Hardys and fucking, well, we had Daniel Day-Lewis, but like Gary Oldman. I put Toby Maguire next to David Schwimmer, okay, when it comes to acting. Yeah, look at his movies.
David Schwimmer? Are you kidding?
He's a one-hit wonder.
Swap out Toby Maguire for David Schwimmer as Spider-Man. Which one is better?
Well, okay, no. What I'm saying is,
are you kidding?
Wasn't
me,
exactly
dude?
apple to apples.
No. My whole thing is that you look at it like this. Toby Maguire in every movie he has played Toby Maguire.
Okay, fair enough.
He does a good Toby Maguire, Aaron.
But I tell you, I like David Schwimmer in those Madagascar movies. Well, I did. He played a hell of a giraffe, dude. I'm not going to sit here and say.
On that note, yeah.
I would imagine a hypochondriac giraffe sounded like David Schwimmer, and he did a good job. I have my right to say that.
David Schwimmer, just like whenever you see him acting, though, he kind of has the same face, like someone just took a shit in my cereal kind of face. Yeah, like this gloomy, like, oh, are you not going to touch my penis? Oh.
They had a show called The Beast on AMC, but it got canceled. I don't know why every show that's called The Beast gets canceled. Maybe it's because it's called The Beast.
So just to go on, like, okay, I shit on Toby Maguire enough. Now I'm going to shit on David Schwimmer. You ever see the movie Iceman? It's a terrible movie. Chris Evans is in it. It's about the mobster, the Iceman, who basically, he froze people's bodies and then, fucking threw them out later on so it would confuse the cops. He says he killed over 100 people, whatnot.
Buried them in the Pine Bluffs, yeah.
Yeah, so David Schwimmer is a character in this movie playing a mobster that's supposed to be this tough guy. He's literally Ross from Friends.
What did you think of David Schwimmer playing the Kardashian, Rob Kardashian?
That makes sense. That makes sense. That made sense.
Oh, on the OJ documentary?
Yeah.
No. Spot on.
Come on, Juice. Don't be like that, Juice.
Award winning.
Before we end this, we got After School Special on Instagram, After School Special Podcast on Instagram, and you can email us at afterschoolspecialpodcast@gmail.com, and then also afterschoolspecialpodcast.com is the website. We'd love to hear from you and kind of get an idea of possibly, what you would want to hear. I know I'm going to get a lot of dicks and vaginas and whatnot probably sent my way, or saying that I'm a piece of shit and whatnot. I love it. I love it all. Give it to me. It gets me
I'm
hard.
going to be upset if the email doesn't turn out like that, if we don't get a treasure trove of stuff like that. I'd be really upset.
Looking forward to it?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. It gets me fucking hoard. But yeah, that's been Fox Kids, guys. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time with a little bit of a looser episode. And man, I think with those ones, we should just start talking about random ass shit, things from our childhood. You guys also, when we do these loose episodes, have something you want us to mention or something you pick out of the butt cheeks of the news, give it a wipe. All right, see ya.
Later.
Hey guys, it's Aaron. You think you could do me a big fave? Wherever you're listening to this right now, rate and subscribe. Find new episodes every Wednesday where you listen to podcasts, and look for us on all the social media sites and Gmail at After School Special Podcast at Gmail, After School Special Podcast at Instagram and Facebook, and After School SPE3 on Twitter.